Hey everybody, I am Gabby and welcome back to our channel. I cannot believe it is the end of the month once again and we are taking a look at our debt progress. I've recorded this video twice now and I've stopped halfway through because I just feel like I'm not jiving and something's not clicking. It's probably because it is 8 a.m. on Tuesday and I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning and I couldn't fall back asleep. And when I say couldn't, I mean I went down the rabbit hole of TikTok, ended up getting up, making some payments on our debt, adjusting our financial tracker, and then coming on here to record this video. So Gabby's not at peak today, but we'll do our best. And as you can see, my mug says, "This girl loves sleep." So when I'm lacking, I'm lacking. If you are brand new here, we are on a journey to pay off all of our debt by the end of 2026 at the latest. Ideally, in January of 2027, I want to be able to come on here and say, not only did we pay off our debt, but we have 3 to 6 months of emergency fund saved. That would be amazing. To achieve these goals, we have to track our expenses. We have to check in. We have to use our budget. And we have to be mindful of our spending and prioritize paying down these debts. So I started this channel for fun. I love this kind of content. I definitely, obviously, am not just producing financial content. I love baking, Mike loves cooking, lifestyle vlogs, the whole 9 yards, travel, I love all of it. So this channel is kind of just honestly what's the word I'm looking for? Labor of love. That is exactly what it is. And it's all selfish because the more I post about my finances on here, the more accountable I feel. And then the next month I want to come on and be like, we did a great job again. We did a great job again, right? So it's all about selfish motives, but I hope this helps you. If you are on your journey to pay off your debt, it is not impossible. You can do it. And sometimes holding yourself accountable like this, telling somebody else about it, or doing what we did on the wall here, you can't really see it, but I'll show you a video of it. This is our debt chain. We have done this once before where we cut out in $500 increments our debt in chains, signifying like the chains of being in debt. And so as we pay it off, we're cutting the chains. And so I just did that this morning. That was exciting. And yeah, all of that stuff is really helping with this journey. So if you like this kind of content, you're in the right place. And without further ado, let's launch into the numbers for January. Okay, so a lot has changed. Last month, I came to you and said we were considering consigning the RV, but it would be a $10,000 loss on our end. And I say it like that because God delivered our marriage through that RV trip. I don't think it was a loss at all, but financially on paper, we are losing money. It's a depreciating asset. I tell people that buy RVs from me all the time. RVs do not appreciate. So if you think they're gonna hold their value, watch this video and you'll be reminded that they don't. So we did decide to move forward with the consignment, and the agreed upon consignment amount was $21,000, meaning the company sells it for whatever the heck they want above $21,000. They take care of all the paperwork, the customer picks it up, and then they cut a check for $21,000 to our bank, which is Huntington, where we owe the remainder of the amount. So to do all of this, we needed to come up with $10,000. Granted, we did a great job in paying down our debt this past month, and we honestly had probably half the amount that we could have come up with. But with pay periods being at different times and needing the paperwork by a certain date, there was a lot of logistics to figure out. So what we were able to do was, praise God, we have 2 family members who are each willing to contribute $5,000 in a loan, right? They're not just giving us this money, we do have to pay them back. And so we got $5,000 from each of these family members, and we were able to pay down that loan, and then now we owe them each $5,000. Instead of securing another personal loan that had an interest rate on it and then focusing on paying that down, now over the next 6 months, we just have to make payments to each person until we pay off those loans. And hopefully by then, the RV will be sold. And so that debt will be completely canceled out of our total debt. That being said, here's where I will put my numbers up so you can see them as we walk through this. All of our credit cards are paid off except for our Amazon Prime credit card. Currently that balance is $155.84. Before you come at me, there's a bunch of returns from Christmas that I have to make actually today, which should cancel that debt out. That's why I haven't paid it down, because I know that that balance is going to go to very close to zero. And if I pay it today and then I make the returns, we're going to have a negative balance and I'll have to spend money on that card again. Girl math. So we're just going to hold off for a day or two and then that will be paid down. But right now that balance is $155.84. For the sake of privacy with my family members, we're gonna call those two $5,000 loans Loan A and Loan B. So again, we use those two to pay down our Jayco loan. So there's a Loan A for $5,000 and a Loan B for $5,000. Next, we have our city personal loan. We were actually able to pay this one down quite a bit since last month. We are sitting at $11,218.50. I'm looking at my MacBook, that's why I keep looking this way. Next, after the city loan, we have our Ram 1500, which, let's see what happens in future months to come, because if we sell the RV, we might downsize that truck to a four-wheel drive SUV that can handle better in the snow. I know you're thinking, Ram 1500, it's four-wheel drive. No, it's not. It's a Lone Star edition from Texas that we bought in Florida. So it's a two-wheel drive truck. It does about as well as my Prius does in the snow, which is to say, not very well. So we are going to maybe downsize that, but right now we're not thinking about that piece because there's just a lot going on. So that Ram 1500 has a balance of $17,833.13. And finally, last but not least, we have the Jayco Huntington bank loan, which is now paid down to $21,000 on the dot. And I know that like in a day or two that will change because interest accrues daily, but for the sake of this video, $21,000 on the nose. That brings our current total debt to $60,207.47. Drum roll, please. That brings our total paid down for January to $5,855.40. That is huge. Honestly, I was not sure we were going to be able to achieve such a high amount. I did get a bonus at the beginning of the year, which helped tremendously because, let's be honest, Mike and I were not perfect with our finances, and I'm going to go over it in a little bit, like things to review back on the month and stuff, but there was definitely some extra spending when there didn't need to be, and so it could have been higher, but I'm very proud of it. This is genuine progress, and I'm super, super thankful. I'm super grateful, and I feel very blessed that we have the income to be able to achieve this so quickly. Do I still feel like a failure sometimes? Yes, because while we're making progress, we're not perfect. That being said, I just wanted to bring up some points reflecting back on January spending. I spent 3 weeks traveling in the month of January. The first week I was in Kansas City for work, then I was in Tampa, Florida for work, and then I was working out of my mom's house in Orlando, Florida, so that I could see her before I headed back to New York. So there was definitely some spending in there that didn't need to be done. I ended up buying a pair of sandals because it was pretty warm when I first got to Florida. I ended up buying a rain jacket, which I'm actually now gonna return, so it's not that bad. But like these little micro habits of spending in categories that I told myself I wouldn't spend in. I did eat out, okay? So there was a couple of trips, a couple of restaurant charges that like that money could have gone towards paying more of our debt. Now, I did make money at the RV show, and the reason I say this is because they are mainly orders, and the only one in stock is not picking up for 2 to 3 weeks. So I don't get paid until the customer picks up the RV. So that means the money's gonna be trickling in over the next couple months. But what happens at these shows is everybody's hyped up, everybody's excited. I sell a couple RVs, and then I go home and I'm like, I deserve something. I deserve nice things. I did a great job. Did I work hard? Absolutely. Did I need to buy a new iPad? No. Did I buy an iPad? Yes. And I know you're gonna come for me in the comments, especially Terry, my #1 fan in the comments, Terry, shout out to you. But the iPad was a purchase that I was reflecting on for a while. The reason I hadn't bought it yet is because I was like, I can make do with my Kindle and my MacBook and my phone, right? I have all these like devices I can make do. Well, when I travel for work, especially weeks like that, where it was like multiple weeks gone, I packed a lot of stuff, right? And I have my work laptop, I have my personal laptop, I have my Kindle, I have a book, I have, like, there's so much that I'm bringing with me. And I was like, if I just had an iPad, I wouldn't have to bring the MacBook, I wouldn't have to bring the Kindle, and Mike wanted a Kindle, so effectively I was able to ask him, hey, can I buy this iPad? And if I buy this iPad, that would mean that you get my Kindle, which I only bought it a couple months ago, so it's pretty much brand new. And he was like, yes, I really want a Kindle. It's actually his birthday coming up, and he was like, I would much rather just take your Kindle, you get the iPad that will work for work. This is going to sound silly, but one of the benefits of the iPad is not only can I read my Kindle books on there, but I can download TV shows from like Netflix to watch on the plane. I can work my financial tracker, I can take my notes on my, like everything is connected and synced to the rest of my devices. So am I making excuses for why I spent $350 on an iPad? Yes, but I'm also okay with it because of how good our progress has been going and how there's more money coming in the future. I just wish I was a little better at planning that out ahead of time and saying, okay, I'm going to budget for this instead of waffling between I feel guilty and I'm going to do this and I feel guilty and I'm going to do this. I did have some Amazon returns. So as I said earlier, we're going to make those returns, which is going to bring about $100, $150 back, which is great. So impulse spending, still not totally under control, but doing much better. And then recognizing, hey, I don't need this, and deciding to send it back is huge. Overall, I think we did a fantastic job in January, and I'm very much looking forward to continuing and pushing this momentum in February. A couple things that I'm looking forward to in the month of February. I'm hopeful that our RV will sell, which will make a huge dent in our payment. I'm hopeful that our RV will sell quickly. It's a 2025, it's a really great model, and it's in good shape with some great options. Another thing I'm excited for is all of the extra cash flow that's gonna come in from the show orders. So as these RV orders come in, I will be paid a little bit more than I can apply to our debts. Especially I wanna get those personal loans paid off to our family members because I really don't like owing family and friends money. It's not a great place to be in. And as the Bible says, the rich rule over the poor and the borrower is slave to the lender. So I want to get out of debt as fast as possible. I want to be gazelle intense. Like Dave Ramsey says, gazelle intense about paying off this debt. So I'm really excited for any extra money that comes in because that's going to just be more cash flow towards paying off our loans. I am looking forward to an easier, more settled February. I am traveling again next month, but it's going to be a week on, a week off, a week on, a week off. So I won't feel as crazy. And because some of that trip won't be with family and friends, I won't feel tempted to spend outside of the essentials, which are covered by work. When I say that, I mean like my meals. We have a meal stipend. So the only money I will spend is the money on meals. And then besides that, I just go back to the hotel and I can watch TV on my new iPad or read my books on my Kindle app. I don't have to do anything that's going to cost money, right? And also, a lot of our weekends for February are scheduled for fun, free things. We started a new, well, it's my first Dungeons and Dragons campaign with some of our friends. So we are meeting every other week and I'm super looking forward to that. That's like no money except for snacks and drinks if we bring anything over to their house. I've also committed to serving at my church on my production team for at least 2 out of the 4 Sundays in February. So that's going to eat up some of my time with something that makes me feel fulfilled and again, doesn't cost money, but brings me community and that sense of purpose, which impulse spending doesn't. It's very shallow and it feels good on the surface, and then I feel really crappy afterwards. Serving on production has never made me feel that way. I always feel really, really good. Even when it's super stressful, the reward later on, you just feel fulfilled helping somebody else. And I'm still a part of my sourdough small group from church, which is carrying over from last semester. So the weekends that I don't have D&D, I'm going to go to that sourdough group. And again, free, fun, community, hanging out with friends, don't have to worry about spending money, maybe learn some new recipes, and I'll come on here and bake sourdough for you soon, I promise. I think I want to put that video out in the month of February for sure. And that is all I've got for you this month. I'm super, super thrilled. Can't wait to see what February brings. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you next time.